Our campaign to give mandatory life sentences to the killers of emergency service workers has been backed by the government after what Justice Secretary Dominic Raab calls a remarkable 2 years of campaigning by the widow of Constable Andrew Harper. Lissie Harper was just 28 when he was dragged to his death by a getaway car in August 2019. 3 teenagers were jailed for manslaughter.
Lissie Harper married PC Harper just 4 weeks before he was killed. She's since campaigned to introduce mandatory life sentences for those who kill on-duty emergency workers while committing a crime. Well, Lissie says Harper's law will provide extra protection to emergency service workers and that her late husband would be proud to finally see it passed.
Well, that's story on a lot of the front pages. To discuss that and other headlines of the day is Albi Amankonda. He's a commentator and co-founder of Conservatives Against Racism. Good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good morning.
A lot of people saying, well, they assume that it was a mandatory life sentence anyway. Why has it taken so long for this law to be enacted?
I think what we can say is that we're just happy that the law has finally been enacted, and I think the stalwart work of Mrs Harper over the last 2 years of campaigning the government to put this into legislation has been fantastic, and it's really commendable that this has now happened, especially after the pandemic, when a lot of us have really relied on emergency workers to be looking after our families and keeping us all safe.
Many people saying, why did it take so long? And particularly for her and her family, she may feel that justice wasn't served.
Absolutely. Sometimes it does take a shocking incident to shock us into action, and that's exactly what's gone on. Yes, I agree, it probably should have happened before, but I'm just glad that it's happened now.
The murder of a police officer, the murder of a 999 worker, and indeed children, should this perhaps be extended to have certain crimes where life really should mean life?
I think most people would agree that life should always mean life, but we also have to understand that we've got a prison system which costs a lot of money in this country, and it's not very politically acceptable to people for us to be starting to spend more money on prisons. It's not exactly an election-winning policy saying we're going to spend more money on prisons. So I think that's why historically governments have been hesitant to start talking about prisons as something that they want to focus on and invest lots of taxpayers' money in. It's not very popular with voters.